I like them. I'm suspicious. Those sound a bit stiff, don't they? Like they've been lifted straight from a textbook. British English has so many more colourful ways to express these ideas. And once you hear the real versions, the textbook ones are going to sound very flat indeed. Part 1 got so much love, so here I am again with part 2. And today's batch might just be my favourite. Let's get straight into it. Let's start with I feel comfortable or I feel content. They're fine, they do the job, but they're a bit beige, aren't they? If a British person is curled up on a sofa on a rainy Sunday with a cup of tea and absolutely nowhere to be, they're not going to say they feel comfortable. They're going to say, I'm in my element. What I love about this phrase is that it works both ways. Whether you're physically at ease or completely in your professional stride, it goes deeper than just comfort. You're not just okay, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You can use it about yourself. For example, I was completely in my element, just me and a pile of books. Or about someone else. For example, put her in front of a classroom and she's in her element. It's one of my favorites in this whole video, and honestly, if you say it once at the right moment, you'll never go back to I feel comfortable. Now, I like them works, but in British English, liking someone comes in a couple of different flavours, and knowing the difference will make you sound so much more natural. If you like a colleague and want to express that warmly, you'd say, I'm quite fond of them. It's affectionate without being gushing, and it's the kind of thing you say about someone you genuinely like and would quietly go out of your way for. For example, I've worked with her for years. I'm very fond of her. But there's a slightly different version for when you like someone and perhaps let things slide a little more than you should. That's when you say, I've got a soft spot for them. A soft spot implies a helpless kind of warmth. Maybe this person is always late or slightly chaotic, and yet somehow still your favourite person in the room. We all have one. For example, he's always late, but I've got a soft spot for him. So, fond is what you feel, a soft spot is what you can't quite help feeling. Now let's imagine something good has happened. You worked hard on something and it paid off, or a project came together. In many languages, you'd say you're proud or very happy about it. But a British person tends to be a little more understated about their own wins, and this is where it gets interesting. They'd say, I'm pleased with that, or even more typically just, I'm quite pleased. I want to stay on quite pleased for a second because quite is doing a lot of work here. In British English, quite pleased does not mean slightly pleased. It means genuinely and solidly pleased. Just delivered with that classic British reluctance to make a fuss about your own success. For example, yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. Translation, they're absolutely over the moon. But you didn't hear that from me. I've had enough. You know this one. But British people have two better versions depending on how frustrated they are. And yes, there are levels. The everyday version is I'm fed up. It's a classic. It's the kind of phrase you'd use about the weather, a bad week, a situation that won't sort itself out. For example, I'm just fed up with it. This one is very relatable and it's used constantly. But if the feeling is stronger, if you've been tolerating something for a long time and you've now truly and finally hit your limit, you'd say, I'm sick to the teeth of it. Sick to the teeth has a full body quality that fed up just can't match. For example, I've been dealing with this for months. I'm absolutely sick to the teeth of it. One is for a Tuesday afternoon, the other is for the end of your tether on a Friday. We've all been there. Two options, no obvious answer, and your brain going in completely different directions. In the textbook, you'd say, I can't decide. But when a British person is genuinely torn, they say, I'm in two minds about it. It's not just that you can't choose, it's that both sides have a proper argument. For example, I'm in two minds about taking the job. The money's great, but I'd have to move. You can also use it about a situation rather than a specific decision. For example, I'm a bit in two minds about the whole thing, if I'm honest. It fits anything from choosing a flat to choosing a sandwich. Sometimes you're not ill exactly. You're just slightly off, tired in a way that sleep hasn't fixed, or just not quite healthy, and you can't really explain why. Your textbook gives you, I don't feel well, which is fine, but it's not really how a Brit would say it. They'd say, I'm not feeling myself. Or if they want to be a little more specific, I'm not feeling 100%. I'm not feeling 100% is the British version of a sick day request, really. You're not dying, you're not fine, you're somewhere in the middle and you'd appreciate it if nobody asked follow-up questions. For example, I'll be joining the meeting online as I'm not feeling 100%. Both of these phrases are used constantly and both are far more natural than I am unwell, which sounds like you're filling in a form rather than having a conversation. And finally, I'm suspicious. Perfectly clear, but a bit flat for something that's actually quite a juicy feeling, isn't it? In British English, suspicion comes in two strengths and it's worth knowing both. If something seems a little off, but you're keeping an open mind, you'd say, I'm not so sure about that. It's measured and mild and it leaves plenty of room to be wrong. But if something genuinely doesn't add up, the story's too convenient, the deal's too good, the whole thing just smells a bit fishy, a Brit would say, that seems a bit dodgy. Dodgy is a brilliant word. It's so versatile you can use it to describe a used car, a kebab, or a prime minister. For example, I don't know, the whole thing seems a bit dodgy to me. And then there is the younger version, which requires even less effort. Just, that's Dodge with a look, no elaboration needed. And there you have it. I really hope a few of these find their way into your actual conversations because they all deserve to be used. And if you want to take your English even further, don't forget to check out my new course, Beyond the Basics of English. To find out more, click the link in the description. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. See you in the next one.